Welcome to Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight, where both the host and guest are alumni of our local 10-month leadership development course. This program shines a spotlight on just one of the several hundred graduates who have given their countless hours of their time and effort to make things happen through leadership. I'm your host, Misty Tobin, Class of 23 and Chief Administrative Officer at Central Kitsap Fire and Rescue. And joining me today is Jess Reicks, HR Director at Grundens. Thank you for being here.
Of course, my pleasure.
And you are also Class of 2023.
Yes, best class.
I noticed that every year, and you probably noticed this too, because multiple people come in throughout our 10-month course and tell us that their graduating class was the best class ever.
Nope, ours was.
Right, so I think so too.
Yes.
Although I am co-chairing for Class of 2024.
Yes.
And they're pretty great. But
heard.
that might just be because I feel like I'm quasi part of it.
Yeah.
But what do you think makes 2023 the best class?
I think that we had the best class because we were really the first kind of post-COVID class, right? We were the ones who actually got to start doing more things, especially on the challenge days. And Leadership Kitsap as a program really took advantage of that, I felt like. They sent us on some really cool adventures and really taught us a lot and gave us some good exposure to the community. Also, the people, right? Like we had amazing groups of people, from people who had been elected officials, got elected during the class program, which was really cool, had been leaders for many, many years, and individuals who had been part of organizations that are really prominent here in our community, as well as people just starting out their leadership journey. It was amazing. Definitely the best class ever.
I agree. That was a really good answer.
Oh, why, thank you.
I'm going to hang on to that one for when
Of
I
course.
ask what
Yes,
2023
please
was
do.
the best class ever.
Yeah.
So I already know a little bit of the answer to this because that's how we start everything.
Yeah.
But what caused you to join Leadership Kitsap?
That's a great question. So I am a military spouse. I've been up here since 2005-ish. My husband's in the Navy. And that was kind of my community. And I didn't really know how long we were going to be here because, of course, the military moves you around. Well, we've been fortunate and we've only been stationed here in Kitsap. And so when I realized like, oh no, we're in this for the long haul. And when we get out of the Navy, when he retires, we want to stay here. So I really wanted to start investing in the community here and learning more about what was beyond the military here in Kitsap County. So that really like intrigued me of like, there's this organization that really helps foster leaders and gives exposure. And I was like, why not? Let's do it. Try it out, Jess. So I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you were sponsored at the time, right?
I was, yes, sponsored by an excellent organization called Watson Furniture. I was the head of HR there at the time. And Leadership Kitsap goes to Watson every year as one of the challenge days. So I had heard about Leadership Kitsap because I was like, oh, every December they're there.
Right.
And I was like, but wait, I want to be a part of this, right? So I was able to approach the leadership and say, hey, I would like to be sponsored. And they said, of course, Jess. So it was great.
Yeah, and I remember that challenge day at Watson Furniture
Yes.
in December.
Yes.
It was cold, but it was a very
cold.
cool day.
It was cold, yes. But yeah, we had an excellent day to have some really impactful speakers and have a cool tour of the facility there in the factory. And it was a really cool point of pride, right? Being part of the organization that was the sponsor that day. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So I want to talk about all of the things Leadership Kitsap.
Yes.
But before we talk about each of the little things, I think the most impactful thing, or the thing that lives on for most of the people that go through it, is kind of the class project.
Oh, yes.
And I know for your group, that's a whole big story in and of itself. So what did you all choose for your project? Team Pivot, right?
Team Pivot, yes. And the name says a lot right there. We pivoted multiple times, even within the first couple of weeks, and then several months into the program still had to keep changing. So we learned so much. It was a group of us that came from all sorts of different sectors that came together with an idea in mind to really do something that we wanted to keep our original goal was something connected with kids and our families. But we learned a lot through all of that, and I learned a lot of being flexible, being resilient. Whenever we came up against a roadblock, like, okay, how do we want to get over this roadblock, or do we pivot? And sometimes we tried to climb the roadblock, or sometimes we pivoted. So eventually, long story short, we ended up partnering with the Kitsap County Solid Waste Department on their Secure Your Load campaign. So Secure Your Load is all about keeping our roads safe and keeping our roads as litter free as possible. So securing your truckloads whenever you take things or transporting them, and using the proper tools to be able to keep things in your truck bed or in your trailer versus on the road or in somebody else's car. So what we did, our project was kind of two-part. We partnered with BCAT, which is an excellent organization. Big shout out, of course. And we created a video and a ad, so which went on the website and was able to work for their campaign, for the county's campaign of really bringing forward the issue and how it was impacting us. So created a really cool video. With the team, me and one of my other cohorts, Jeremiah, were the actors, and so was Martha, so which was really cool, acting debut, and
it was great.
It turned out really great. It was a really impactful video. So we did that, and then we also did a cargo net giveaway. So we wanted something to give back to the community. So individuals in Kitsap County just had to attest on the website that they would use these cargo nets to keep our roads safe. And we had two different events, one that happened during our program and one that actually happened after our graduation, a month or so after graduation, to where we gave away these cargo nets, which was really cool. It was interesting to see members of the community who made this, the statement that, yes, I commit to using this and I commit to keeping our roads safe, and then coming by and actually picking it up. So it was really cool.
I didn't know about that. That's super cool.
It was fun. So
yeah. So you're probably still in touch with this group, I'm assuming.
I am, some more than others. Not as much as I wish I was. It's challenging when you go from spending tons of time together to having a little bit of a life's back to normal. But I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of them actually at the event next week. So.
Oh, at the alumni luncheon?
The Lunch with a Leader.
Lunch with a Leader.
Lunch with a Leader event, yeah.
Yeah. So you said, and it's part of the curriculum that they talk about resiliency and flexibility and some of that stuff. What were some of those takeaways when you were in it, working on this project with a bunch of people who were also leaders and trying to juggle and balance this huge project and leadership at work and trying to get all of this done?
Yeah. It's a lot of compassion and understanding for each other, right? There's times where you can be really involved, and other times when family life or work life brings us kind of back in reality of it. So big takeaways were being able to communicate effectively and have understanding of when somebody can't communicate effectively or can't be as involved as they once were. And just really being able to look at what are we trying to do here, and is this going to make the impact that we think it's going to make? That's what really got us in the end of, is this really going to be something that I can be proud of, something that I can say, we did this and it's going to make this big impact, or is it more of a nice to have? The other projects would have been great to have. They would have been really cool, but not made the impact that we wanted to make.
Yeah. So ultimately, the pivot.
The pivot. Yep.
I found the same thing on our team, and I'm sure everyone that's gone through this found, where it is demanding when you are in Leadership Kitsap and you are a leader in the community and you're trying to do this project that makes an impact. But the compassion and understanding is so huge, because there are times in that 10 months where you're able to step forward and take on a big chunk, and then life happens and you kind of have to pull back and rely on your teammates to step forward, and there's this ebb and flow that kind of takes place, and just really grateful for the people that are in your cohort or around you
Yes.
for being able to like show up authentically.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. We each really brought our strengths and we brought our weaknesses, and we were able to complement each other. And we had times that, were tense and we were working through stuff, and other times that most of the time that we just had a great time, with each other. So it was awesome.
Yeah. So great. So moving on from
Yes.
the project, which
Yes.
is awesome. And hopefully if people want to go watch that video.
Oh, please do.
They can find it.
On the Kitsap County website for solid waste. Yep. And if you just search Secure Your Load Kitsap County, it's there.
Okay. And I recommend watching it. It's so great.
Thank you.
It's
yes,
really
yeah,
good.
I'm super proud of it.
Okay, so let's talk about the challenge days. So we take this time over the 10 months and we learn a lot about Kitsap County. A lot.
A lot.
What was your favorite challenge day?
Ooh, this is a tough one, but I think it's going to be Community Health Day.
Okay.
That was the one that really, I don't know why, and maybe it was the timing in the program, but this is, I think, January-ish, if I remember right.
That sounds right.
Where we really got exposed to the local hospital here. We got exposed to mental health. We got exposed to the fire department, Central Kitsap Fire Department. We got lots of different speakers that day that really just hit home. And something clicked for me that day. And I don't know if we also had a great team building exercise over lunch.
Yeah, we did.
That was really fun and insightful, and I think helped bonded us as a cohort, which was really cool. What was your favorite challenge day?
That's a tough one. My favorite day, probably Arts and Culture Day. And I think it's because we did the Bainbridge Island Japanese American Exclusion Memorial.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I did not even know that was there. So that was amazingly impactful. And we got there and we split into those groups. And we were able to get a tour. And the woman that gave us a tour, her name was Lily, and she was there when they took her and her family away. So she was able to recall the events that happened that day, and in the photos along the wall, she was able to point to herself and her mother and her family, and it was just so powerful to hear the stories and to just hear how big of a part Kitsap County played in all of that. And things that you just wouldn't know. So
Totally. I've been back there with my kids now.
Have you?
And it's been because they learn about it in school, and it was really cool to see and to say, hey, I went through this, and I've met that woman, that little girl who's right there.
Yeah.
I met her. Yeah.
Well, and when we left, I was like, well, if we're coming back, I want to get a tour. But I found out that the parks were going to have a QR code that you could scan so that you could hear the narration of it. And
that's cool.
They were going to tell the stories like that. So I just thought that was really neat.
That's really neat. That's really awesome.
Yeah. But I found I learned so many things like that about our community through
things I had no idea about, similar to that, and the challenge days really gave us structured exposure of it, which was so impressive. And the speakers that we had, there were some that were incredibly thought-provoking that I know we challenged them back too, which is always fun to be able to have the dialogue with the speakers that were there. So very fortunate.
Yeah, and when I'm thinking back on, because you're right, the speakers that they set up were dynamic and amazing, and Emily Randall being one of them on authenticity and leadership on Government Day was.
And that was our first real challenge
It was a way
day.
to really open it up.
I completely agree.
So awesome. So aside from what we've already talked about, what else did you learn about the community that you didn't really know?
Oh my gosh, so much. Really, I didn't have, like I mentioned, my community was more military driven. So this really expanded my horizons and really understood how many people in our community are working together and how many of them, how many different organizations that are out there. And I still, every time I interact with somebody with Leadership Kitsap, or if I go to an alumni event or something, I'm like, oh, there's this other organization that's doing good in our community. How can I help? How can I be involved? Like, it's so cool. Yeah, I learned, like, I can't even tell you how many things I learned.
Right, and they teach us that community is, yes, there's Kitsap community, but then like there's so many micro communities.
Yes.
And you're a part of the community, even if you're involved in like these micro communities.
100%, yeah.
And learning about like, I mean, just how like our jail system works and how progressive we are on our drug court and our reform, and that like how all of these different systems are working together from like early childhood to, I mean, just everything.
To everything, yeah. It really was. And I also really valued the personal journey that I went on, right? There was a lot of thinking and reflecting and learning from others that, you know, the exposure to the community, but the exposure to myself as a leader too was really impactful.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, it was, you know, I went into it with an idea of what I thought I needed and wanted, which was different than what I actually needed or wanted. Shocker, right?
Yeah, imagine that.
But it was something that I was like, wow, I really like this attribute about this person and this and how they're doing that. And I can go talk to them about that. That was a really big aha moment for me of, you know, that yes, we're all come from different backgrounds and different things, but through Leadership Kitsap, I can go say, hey, Misty, I'm having this problem, or how would you approach this? Or you do this, how did you start doing that? And it just gives you a forum to have those conversations without any judgment, without any concern, just with a mindset of learning and growing, which was really cool.
Yeah, so like most people, you came into Leadership Kitsap as a leader.
Yes, yeah, I was already,
Yeah. So how would you say that it made you a better leader?
It made me a more understanding and well-rounded leader, I would say. You know, it's not a management program. You're not going to learn these are how you talk to employees. These are like, but I knew that going in, thankfully. So it was all about just understanding how different individuals react to things and why they react to things, which was really cool. And just backgrounds of people, both in the class and outside, right? What are these factors? Like, as you were saying, early childhood, like learning so much about the early childhood during, we're at the college education. Yeah. Was it education day? That would make sense. That was really interesting, and how different areas of our community are impacted in different ways that I didn't realize before that. And that really helped me, kind of getting back to your question, that helped me become a better leader to just understand backgrounds and not assume things. So,
yeah, that's a really good takeaway.
Yeah.
I think I kind of had the same like impact and understanding, to where I was able to pick up on the different ways that people led and kind of see stylistically, like there are some things that I really like that I maybe haven't been exposed to before, because I only lead how I've led or how I've seen other people lead. And, you know, you're in your little micro community or in your work. And
and getting these leaders from different organizations, government, nonprofit, you know, private sector, financial, all these different things they come together and they all lead differently for different reasons. But there's a lot of things that we can learn from each other.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your Jess's personal philosophy on leadership? How do you lead?
This is great, and it's heavy answer or heavy question, because there's a lot that goes into leadership. I like to lead with my heart, right? I care about people. I care about how they feel about themselves and how they react to different situations. So I lead with my heart, but also with my head, is how I like to say. Because there are things that we have to do and how we work that to run a business and to make an organization grow and to make an organization sustainable, or a program sustainable, there has to be a lot of strategy that's involved. But people are real, and the decisions that we make impact more than what we realize, right? And of course it impacts individual work lives, but it impacts home. It impacts how they feel about themselves. So My philosophy is to lead with my heart, have difficult conversations, don't shy away from them, even when it's uncomfortable, and to just go in it and make decisions and treat people and behave in a way that I would want somebody who I'm working for to lead, right? Be that example.
Yeah, and the more that I've gotten to know you, the more I've seen like you have, and you kind of alluded to it, and maybe it's because you are in HR. So
that does help.
I love HR.
Yeah.
But you have this way of like, it's a whole person approach.
Yeah.
So like when Jess meets someone, like you meet the whole person, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I know I tend to be like a little distant from people, but I know when I met you, it wasn't like I could get away with, my name is Misty and this is where I work and goodbye.
Yeah, I know.
Like there was a whole nother layer that you were going to get to see.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think I really appreciate that about you. And that's something that I was able to take away. And
my
I
goodness.
appreciate being able to glean that from you.
Of course. Thank you so much. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah. So you are one relationship that I got to take away from Leadership Kitsap. And I think that's super important.
Yeah.
Have you been able to take anyone else and stay in touch with them?
Yeah, I have. It's interesting because being in HR, I really enjoy training, right? Shocker. So I have gotten involved with the curriculum committee. So have been able to stay in touch with folks that didn't go through our class, right? Who went through other classes. And be able to feed back into the program. So that has been really cool. I haven't been able to stay as close as I would want to for others in our class, but I'm really excited with our new alumni group or committee that's going, or revitalized, that they're doing a lot of cool events, both for the current class as well as past classes. So,
I feel like I'm seeing a lot of things come out about that, more than I did when we were in it.
Definitely, yeah.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I feel like, are involved. Like, even from our class, I feel like Melinda's involved, Susan, you.
Yeah, Jeremiah's also on the alumni.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
So it feels like there's a lot of energy around, like, keeping this momentum and keeping this whole values-based leadership and connection going.
Exactly. It's because we're the best class.
It's because we're the best class. No, I think that's really great. And I agree. It's been awesome to see this revitalization post-COVID.
Yes.
And the sustainability in the projects and these challenge days like up and running again. I'm just really excited to see.
And it's so cool being on the curriculum committee, the background that goes into these challenge days and that people volunteer their time to organize these. It's amazing how far ahead we plan, the thought that goes into each part of the day to make it fit for that cohort. It's really impressive.
Yeah, this organization just has a massive impact.
Yeah.
So if someone were considering Leadership Kitsap, if they were just kind of on the fence or they were hearing about it and maybe wanting to dip their toe in the water but hadn't applied yet, what would you say to them? Any advice?
Yeah, just do it. There's no, why not? Don't let yourself, or don't hold yourself back, right? Don't worry about what other individuals are going to be in there. If you're going to be a good enough leader to be involved, it's all about developing your leadership. So just put your name in the hat. Why not, right? And you'll be able to make relationships, connections, and have exposure to things that you won't any other way. So
that's so true. Like that feeling of, I don't know if I belong here. You will feel
you'll
like
feel
you belong.
The Watson, who was my sponsor, we hadn't had somebody go through the program for quite a while. We had been a long-term sponsor of the program, so believed in it, but just hadn't done it. So it was a touch intimidating to say, hey, I know we haven't done this, but can we do this? But organizations want to invest in their people, and there's no harm in asking. So don't let anything stand in your way. Just ask.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you came.
Thank you for having me.
It was good to see you again.
You as well. Yes.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight. If you want to become a part of a vibrant team working to build a new and continuing source of fine leaders right here in Kitsap County, reach out to us online at leadershipkitsap.org, on Instagram and Facebook. For the Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight, I'm Misty Tobin. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.